At 6:12 in the morning, when most people are trying to squeeze in those last 10 minutes of sleep, a shriek ripped through Mulberry Trace, so loud I nearly dropped my coffee mug. And there she was, Beverly Grafton, our infamous HOA president, standing smack in the middle of my front yard, looking like she'd just survived a glitter tornado. I'm talking neon magenta dust blooming off her old lady cardigan like she was starring in a Vegas stage show. It got better, though. My sprinklers kicked on, and suddenly she looked like a Jackson Pollock painting on legs, the colors streaking, her mouth frozen in a big O of pure shock. Worth every single complaint she'd ever sent my way. Believe me, there were plenty. My name's Ian Delaney. I write software for a living and, not by accident, keep to myself. I moved to Mulberry Trace, Cedar Willows, lured by the promise of quiet, little traffic, the kind of place where even the deer seem polite. Funny thing is, no one mentioned Beverly. She introduced herself on day one, not with a plate of cookies, but by letting me know my mailbox lacked whimsy and my lawn smelled non-compliant. Not a clue what that meant, but I nodded, grinned, and ducked inside to practice my one true faith. Leave me be. I figured if I just kept a low profile, maybe she'd find some other unlucky soul to nitpick. Man, was I wrong. Beverly was like a budget Bond villain, scheming up new infractions in her spare time. It started innocent enough, passive-aggressive notes tucked under my windshield wipers about garbage can angles. Then, next level, I wake up to a grass height citation taped to my door at 2 in the morning. Caught her on the doorbell cam in a robe and slippers, holding a tape measure. According to her, my grass was 2 inches above regulation. 2 inches. A week later, she's on my security feed again. This time, she slipped through my side gate just to measure my garden gnome. And I'm not making this up. She muttered about him, smirking above code. She was talking about a ceramic gnome. Then came the Facebook post. She accused me of running a clandestine weed nursery. Turns out, she meant dandelions. 3 of them. But the trespassing? That's when things turned wild. She'd show up at random hours, clipboard in hand, pacing my yard like a rent-a-cop, whispering about imaginary violations. My outdoor thermometer wasn't mounted at an approved angle. My bird feeder attracted undesirable species. My welcome mat was, in her words, too welcoming, and might encourage solicitors. You know what I mean? Like, where do people come up with this stuff? So, I sent her a cease and desist. My lawyer buddy drafted it up. Beverly's response. A handwritten note. No one is above mulch law. She even underlined mulch 3 times. For weeks, she kept at it. 6 a.m., sharp, out front, snapping photos from every angle, tape measuring my trash cans for public hazard placement, apparently 2 inches off. Complaints about the color of my garden hose, hunter green clashes with the aesthetic. Leaves blown in from the neighbor's yard, foreign debris violation, you name it. The last straw? A pink notice stapled to my backyard maple tree, inside my locked yard, summoning me to a mandatory lawn conformity hearing. Staple holes right in the bark. I realized right then, Beverly had crossed a line. That night, I sat down with the HOA bylaws and state statutes, then emailed Beverly a polite reminder that criminal trespass was still a thing. She shot back a laughing emoji and said property lines were a social construct. I'm not even kidding. So, I called the city code office and rang up my lawyer friend again. I also paid a visit to the hardware and party supply stores. That's when the real fun began. On my own property, I installed a series of color powder mines. Think festival meets glitter bomb, all biodegradable and harmless. Pressure mats tucked under the mulch, step on one, and poof, a little cloud of food-grade colored powder. No harm, just a lot of flair. I laid them out in a pattern, exactly where Beverly liked to audit. The sensors were sensitive enough for a grown adult, not critters. I made 2 important phone calls. First, Officer Juno Park from our local police unit. I invited him for coffee the next morning, around 6:15, to chat trespassing laws. Second, Elliot Grimm from City Code Compliance, who was already intrigued by my HOA overreach evidence. Both agreed to come by bright and early. I charged my cameras, set my alarm for 5:30, and waited. Right at dawn, Beverly slithers in. Her words, pre-audit audit. I'm peeking from my kitchen, coffee in hand, as she tiptoes across my lawn with her trusty clipboard. Suddenly, The first mine goes off, and she's crowned in tangerine and fuchsia. She stumbles back, mouth open. Then, bam, cerulean powder explodes at her ankles. She shrieks, staggers sideways, and hits a third pad. Lime green cascades over her shoulders. By the time she's done, she looks like she's been mugged by a rainbow. Just as she stomps up to my porch, ready for a meltdown, she finds Officer Park standing there, uniform pressed, mug in hand, fighting to keep a straight face. Elliot Grimm's jotting notes, barely containing a grin. My doorbell cam catches every second. Beverly, looking like a confetti cannoli, blurts out that maybe she stepped past the setback. Officer Park asks, "Past the fence? You mean, onto private property?" Beverly, dripping purple powder, insists the fence is more of a guideline. Both guys pull out their notebooks at the same time. Me? I'm just sipping coffee, doing my best not to laugh. Turns out, confessing to criminal trespass in front of a cop and a city official isn't Beverly's best move. That night, the HOA calls an emergency meeting, probably hoping to roast me. I'm ready. I bring photos of every trespass, time-stamped, video clips of her breaching my gate 3 times in a single week, a stack of statutes on HOA authority versus actual law, and the piece de resistance, a high-res photo of her notice, staple holes and all, right in my tree. Elliot Grimm lays it out. Trespassing is an actual law, not mulch law. HOA boards can get sued for this kind of stunt. Officer Park says a formal warning's been issued, with a report now on file. He recommends Beverly stop surveilling residents like some off-brand drone. Beverly tries to pivot, claims she's conducting safety inspections. I pull up my projector, cue the money shot. Beverly, right at the moment the powder pad goes off, face frozen in shock, arms flailing, hair a mess, covered in hot pink. The room cracks up. One board member snorts so hard she swallows a cough drop. Another tries to disguise laughter as a coughing fit. Even the HOA's stone-faced attorney has to turn away. The fallout's immediate. Beverly gets censured, suspended from any enforcement for 6 months. The HOA's attorney demands policy rewrites. No more surprise inspections, no more entering gates, and an outright ban on rulers. My yard and my maple tree get a no trespass order. Beverly gets slapped with a $3,000 city fine, plus 40 hours of community service, ironically, focused on property rights education. When the judge reads out the fine, Beverly's face turns the same magenta as that morning. She starts ranting about a conspiracy against proper lawn standards. And here's the thing, right? The next day, the neighborhood group chat explodes. Half the folks think Beverly got what she deserved. Others say the color bombs went too far. I'm just glad I can finally sip my coffee on the porch without worrying about measuring tapes or midnight citations. But every time the wind blows through my maple tree, I can't help but grin. Because somewhere out there, there's a board president who finally learned the difference between HOA rules and actual law. So what do you think? Did I go too far? Or was this the only way to reclaim a little sanity? Let me know, because in a place like this, the lines between right and wrong are drawn in a whole lot more than chalk. Drop your take in the comments. Tell me your wildest HOA story, or where you draw the line when community standards cross into your backyard.